God, I got it.
Welcome back to Glow Gossips USA, where truth, tension, and tears meet the world of sister wives. If you thought the drama was over, think again. Because tonight, the silence that has lasted for years is finally breaking. Mykelti Brown, the Auri, daughter once known for her loyalty and kindness, has decided it's time to speak out. Her words aren't just emotional, they're explosive. She's finally exposing what she calls Robyn's dark manipulation, and the way she was unknowingly turned into a weapon against her own family. It started quietly, as most storms do. Mykelti had always looked up to Robyn. When Cody introduced Robyn to the family, Mykelti was among the first to embrace her, calling her sweet, gentle, and different from the rest. But as time went on, those differences started to feel more like division. Behind closed doors, conversations shifted, alliances formed, and trust started to break. At first, Mykelti thought it was all in her head. After all, Robyn was charming, soft-spoken, always emotional, always ready with tears in her eyes and words that could melt anyone's defenses. But there was something about the way Robyn's kindness came with conditions, how her warmth was followed by subtle guilt that made Mykelti feel uneasy. She didn't understand it then, but looking back now, she says it was the start of the manipulation that would change everything. In her recent interview, the one that's shaking the Sister Wives fandom, Mykelti's voice trembled as she said, "I thought she cared about me like a daughter, but I wasn't her family. I was her pawn." Her words hit hard. Fans, who once adored Robyn for her emotional honesty, are now questioning everything. Did she truly love her stepchildren, or did she see them as pieces in a larger plan? A plan to secure her position and control Cody's loyalty. According to Mykelti, the first red flag appeared during a private conversation years ago, when Robyn allegedly told her, "You're special to me because you understand what family really means. You're not like the others." At first, Mykelti took it as a compliment, but as time passed, she realized those words were meant to isolate her, to separate her from Christine, Janelle, and the rest of her siblings emotionally. She recalls moments when Robyn would gently steer conversations, planting seeds of doubt about Christine's strength as a mother or Janelle's commitment to the family vision. It wasn't outright gossip, Mykelti explained. It was strategic empathy. Robyn would cry, express sadness, and then quietly twist the narrative to make herself the victim. The more Mykelti tried to stay neutral, the deeper she got pulled in. She wanted peace, but peace meant silence, and silence meant compliance. Whenever she tried to defend her mother, Christine, she says Robyn would cry harder, saying things like, "I just wish your mom didn't hate me so much." And that's when guilt would take over. In her words, "She made me feel responsible for her emotions. I felt like if I didn't comfort her, I was the bad guy. I was just a kid, and she made me believe I could fix everything by taking her side." Those are haunting words. Fans who have followed Sister Wives since the early seasons remember Mykelti as bubbly and eager to please, often torn between loyalty to her mother and affection for her father's new wife. But what we never saw, what the cameras never caught, were the whispered conversations that slowly rewired Mykelti's trust. As the years went by, this emotional tug-of-war intensified. Mykelti began defending Robyn more often, sometimes even against her own siblings. There were arguments, small ones at first, that turned into deep cracks within the family. Christine, who had always been close to her daughter, started to notice the change. One night, Christine allegedly confronted Mykelti after hearing her repeat something cruel that had been said about her parenting. Christine asked gently, "Where did you hear that from?" Mykelti froze. She didn't want to admit it, but the words had come from Robyn, said softly, in confidence, as if out of concern. Christine didn't push that night, but something in her eyes shifted. The bond between mother and daughter had been touched by manipulation, a subtle poison that spread slowly through their trust. Robyn, meanwhile, continued to strengthen her position within Cody's life. Every time a disagreement erupted, she cried. Every time someone tried to hold her accountable, she called herself misunderstood. And Mykelti, who once questioned nothing, found herself becoming Robyn's defender, even when it hurt the people she loved most. Now, years later, Mykelti admits how deeply those tactics affected her. She says she wasn't just emotionally used, she was weaponized. Robyn allegedly told her things like, "You have a good heart, Mykelti. Your mom doesn't always see what's best for the family." Those words might sound harmless, but to a young girl seeking approval from adults she admired, they carried weight. In her confession, Mykelti revealed that she became Robyn's messenger, unknowingly delivering emotional blows to Christine, through conversations or by siding with Cody in family disputes. It's a painful realization for her now, one she says still keeps her awake at night. "I thought I was helping," she said, "but I was being used to hurt my own mom. And when I realized it, I felt sick." Her voice cracked when she described how Robyn would call her late at night, asking for advice or support after arguments with Cody. Mykelti felt flattered at first, like she mattered. But slowly, those calls turned into manipulation. Robyn would cry and say, "You're the only one who understands me, Mykelti." Over time, that emotional dependence made Mykelti feel trapped, torn between comforting Robyn and protecting her mother. Christine, being intuitive, eventually began to sense something was wrong. She didn't accuse Robyn outright, but noticed that Mykelti's tone had changed, softer toward Cody and Robyn, colder toward her own siblings. When Christine left the family years later, Mykelti says she felt torn apart. "I loved my mom," she said, "but Robyn made me feel like leaving her meant betraying Dad. I didn't realize how much control she had over my emotions until I stepped away." After Christine's departure, Mykelti tried to maintain peace, but deep down she started reflecting on her interactions with Robyn. The patterns became clear. Every time Robyn cried, Mykelti would feel guilty. Every time Robyn faced criticism, she would rush to defend her. It was only when she saw how Robyn's tears controlled not just her but Cody himself that she started connecting the dots. It wasn't about love. It was about control. Fans have long debated whether Robyn's tears were genuine or performative, but Mykelti's testimony has turned that speculation into something far darker. She says she's not calling Robyn evil, but she is saying that Robyn knows how to manipulate emotions like no one else. In one chilling quote, Mykelti revealed, "Robyn taught me that being emotional was power. I didn't realize until much later that she was using that power to get what she wanted." She recalls how Robyn's influence over Cody grew stronger every year. The other wives began to feel sidelined, ignored, and invalidated. Yet whenever they expressed their pain, Robyn turned the narrative back onto herself. She would cry and say things like, "I don't know why everyone hates me." And just like that, accountability would vanish. According to Mykelti, this pattern didn't just affect her parents, it reshaped the entire family dynamic. The children started taking sides, relationships broke down, and what once felt like unity turned into competition for emotional validation. The most heartbreaking part? Mykelti admits she was part of that system. She says Robyn made her feel like she was helping heal the family, but in truth, she was feeding Robyn's need for control. As this revelation spreads, fans are calling it one of the most shocking turns in Sister Wives history. Many are applauding Mykelti for her bravery, while others are asking how such manipulation could go unnoticed for so long. Robyn, of course, has not yet responded publicly to these claims. But sources close to the family suggest that tension has reached new heights. Cody is reportedly furious, not just at the accusations, but at the fact that Mykelti's voice now carries weight with fans. Christine, on the other hand, is said to be heartbroken yet proud. Friends say she always knew something was off, but didn't want to believe her daughter had been caught in the middle. As this emotional storm brews, one thing is certain. Mykelti's truth has shattered the illusion of peace in the Brown family. The silence that followed Mykelti's confession wasn't peaceful, it was explosive. Every word she had spoken rippled through the Brown family like an earthquake, shaking the ground beneath relationships that were already fragile. But what came next wasn't just about pain, it was about confrontation, truth, and finally, freedom. When Mykelti decided to confront Robyn directly, it wasn't out of anger, it was out of exhaustion. Years of being emotionally pulled between love and loyalty had left her drained. She wanted clarity, closure, and maybe, somewhere deep down, a sense of forgiveness. But what she got instead was something she never expected, a moment of raw truth that stripped away every illusion Robyn had built. It started in Flagstaff, during a quiet afternoon at Robyn's home. Mykelti arrived unannounced, carrying a storm of emotions that had been bottled up for too long. The air was tense. Robyn greeted her with her usual soft tone, pretending nothing was wrong. But Mykelti's eyes told another story. She wasn't here for tea or small talk. According to Mykelti's account, she took a deep breath and said, "I need to talk about the past. About how you made me feel and what you did." Robyn's face, usually calm and calculated, reportedly froze for a moment. She blinked rapidly, as if searching for a response that could diffuse what was coming. "Sweetie, what are you talking about?" she asked gently, her voice trembling. But Mykelti didn't back down this time. She explained how she'd spent years feeling guilty, torn, and manipulated, how every emotional plea from Robyn had felt like a chain tightening around her. She talked about how Robyn used tears to silence accountability and kindness to gain control. "You told me I was the only one who understood you," Mykelti said, her voice shaking. "You made me believe I had to protect you, even if it meant hurting my mom. Do you have any idea what that did to me?" The room went silent. Robyn's eyes welled up instantly, and in true Robyn fashion, she began to cry. But this time, Mykelti didn't comfort her. She sat there, firm, refusing to be pulled into the emotional trap that had defined their relationship for so long. According to someone close to the family, Robyn's first reaction wasn't apology, it was defense. She reportedly said, "I never meant to hurt you. You have no idea how hard it's been for me. Everyone always blames me." But Mykelti didn't fall for it. She finally saw it, the pattern repeating itself right before her eyes. Every time Robyn faced confrontation, she made herself the victim. "This isn't about you being blamed," Mykelti said sternly. "This is about accountability. I needed you to love me, not use me." That statement, insiders say, hit Robyn hard. She stopped crying for a moment and stared at Mykelti, almost stunned that someone she once controlled emotionally could speak with such strength. This was the moment everything shifted. For years, Robyn had been at the center of emotional chaos. Her relationship with Cody shielded her, her tears disarmed others, and her soft-spoken words disguised control as compassion. But with Mykelti standing her ground, that shield started to crack. Cody, who later heard about the confrontation, was reportedly furious, not at Robyn, but at Mykelti. According to sources, he accused his daughter of turning against the family and believing Christine's narrative. But Mykelti didn't flinch this time. She told him plainly that her truth wasn't her mother's. It was her own. The tension spread like wildfire. Siblings began whispering, some siding with Mykelti, others afraid to get involved. Truly and Isabel reportedly reached out privately, expressing support. Meanwhile, Robyn retreated, avoiding cameras, canceling public appearances, and reportedly telling TLC she needed a break from filming. Behind the scenes, the truth was uglier. According to close insiders, Robyn's meltdown wasn't about guilt, it was about fear. She knew that once the emotional narrative she'd built unraveled, her control over the family and Cody would weaken. And it did. Cody, for the first time, began to question things, not publicly, but privately. Those close to him say he became distant, confused, and defensive. He reportedly asked Robyn, "Did you really say those things to Mykelti?" But Robyn, rather than answering directly, turned the conversation around. "Why are you doubting me? You know how much they all hate me," she said through tears. It was the same pattern, now turned toward Cody himself. Meanwhile, Christine watched from afar, hurt but unsurprised. When Mykelti told her about the confrontation, Christine reportedly broke down in tears, not because of anger, but because of relief. "I knew she'd figure it out someday," Christine told a close friend. "But I wish she didn't have to get hurt in the process." Fans across social media exploded with reactions. Some praised Mykelti's bravery, others expressed heartbreak, while a few still defended Robyn, saying she was being misunderstood again. But one thing was clear, the family's public image had shattered beyond repair. In the days that followed, Robyn tried reaching out to Mykelti. She left long messages, emotional voicemails filled with apologies that never quite took responsibility. "I'm sorry if you felt hurt," she said in one message, "but you don't understand how much pain I've been in." To Mykelti, those words said everything. Robyn still didn't see what she'd done wrong. That was when Mykelti made her hardest decision yet, to go no contact for a while. She needed space, healing, and distance from the emotional manipulation that had shadowed her youth. For the first time, she put herself first. But what came next shocked everyone, including her. TLC producers, who had been closely following the fallout, reportedly reached out to Mykelti with an offer to tell her story in a special feature episode. They wanted her perspective, her truth, and her raw honesty on camera. At first, she hesitated. She knew speaking out would ignite chaos. But after years of silence, Mykelti realized that her voice might help others see through emotional manipulation, especially those still trapped in toxic family systems. When she agreed it wasn't for fame, it was for closure. The cameras rolled a few weeks later. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of equipment. Mykelti sat across from the interviewer, hands shaking slightly, but her voice steady. She spoke about growing up in a house where love and guilt often came wrapped together. She described Robyn's kindness as strategic, and her tears as weapons of sympathy. She made pain look like love, Mykelti said softly. That's the hardest kind of manipulation to recognize. The interviewer asked if she believed Robyn ever truly cared for her. Mykelti paused for a long time before answering. I think she believed she did. But love without accountability isn't love, it's control. That line hit the internet like lightning. Within hours, clips from the interview began circulating on social media. Fans flooded the comments with heartbreak, outrage, and disbelief. Words like emotional abuse and narcissistic manipulation trended alongside the sister wives hashtag. Even Janelle weighed in indirectly with a cryptic post, writing, "Healing begins when truth replaces guilt." Fans immediately connected the dots. Robyn, however, went silent. No social media posts, no interviews, no public appearances. It was as if the woman who had once been the center of every episode had vanished into the background. But silence doesn't erase the past, and in the Brown family, silence has always been dangerous. According to multiple insiders, the fallout inside the family was intense. Kody reportedly clashed with Christine over Mykelti's statements, accusing her of turning the kids against Robyn. Christine fired back, saying, "They're grown adults, Kody. They see what's real." For Mykelti, that moment was bittersweet. She never wanted to hurt anyone. She just wanted truth. But the more she spoke, the more she realized how deep Robyn's manipulation had run. In one unseen clip from the interview, Mykelti recalled an emotional memory from her teenage years, one that still haunted her. She said Robyn once told her, "You remind me of myself when I was your age. I just hope you don't end up bitter like some people." At the time, Mykelti thought Robyn was trying to be protective. But now she realized it was another attempt to plant seeds of division. Mykelti sat in the dim living room, the quiet hum of the ceiling fan doing little to drown out the storm inside her chest. Cameras were gone. Lights off. For the first time in years, she wasn't performing for anyone. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "It's over, Robyn. I see you for who you are now." That single line shattered the illusion that had held the Brown family together for over a decade. Robyn froze, her eyes glistening, but the softness that once fooled everyone was gone. "You don't understand what I've done for this family," she said, voice cracking under pressure. Mykelti's eyes burned as she shot back, "You didn't do it for the family, you did it for control." Robyn's manipulation had worked in silence for so long. Whispers disguised as concern, tears weaponized as guilt. She made Kody believe she was the only one who truly cared. And for a while it worked. Mykelti had been one of her strongest defenders, the one who always said, "Robyn just wants peace." But peace was never what Robyn wanted. She wanted power, control, loyalty. Mykelti now saw that Robyn had used her kindness to turn Christine's own daughter against her. And when the realization came, it hit harder than anything Mykelti had faced before. It started with a text, a message from Robyn sent late at night after one of Kody's infamous outbursts. "You're the only one who still understands what family means," Robyn had written. It sounded harmless. But behind those words was a hidden plea. "Choose me. Stay with us. Don't go to your mother's side." Mykelti read that text again now, and her stomach turned. Every conversation, every tearful moment, every hug, it had all been part of a long game. And the saddest part? Robyn had won for a while. Christine had seen it early on. She'd tried to warn her daughter, but Mykelti refused to listen. "Robyn loves you," Mykelti would argue. "She's just misunderstood." But now, standing in the same house where all those conversations happened, Mykelti could finally admit that her mother had been right. Robyn wasn't misunderstood. She was manipulative, strategic even. She'd played the perfect victim, the loyal wife, the spiritual savior of a crumbling family. But the truth was much darker. When Mykelti finally confronted her, Robyn broke, her mask cracking in ways no one had seen before. "You think I wanted this? You think I wanted Kody to turn into this man?" Robyn sobbed. "You all left me with the pieces. I'm the one who had to keep him together. Mykelti shook her head. No, she said softly. You made sure he only broke where you could fix him. That silence that followed felt like the end of an era. Outside, snow was falling on Flagstaff, quiet and unbothered by the chaos inside. Cody wasn't there. He hadn't been for weeks. Rumor had it he was staying with a friend trying to figure out his next move. But everyone knew what that meant. The kingdom Robyn built was collapsing, and for once, no amount of tears or guilt could save it. Christine visited Mykelti the next morning. The moment their eyes met, no words were needed. Mykelti fell into her mother's arms, crying harder than she had in years. I'm so sorry, Mom, she whispered. Christine smiled through her tears. You don't need to be sorry, sweetheart. You just needed to see it for yourself. And she had. Mykelti wasn't the naive girl anymore. She had seen how emotional manipulation could masquerade as love, and she wasn't going to let it continue. That night, Mykelti posted a cryptic message online. Truth doesn't always come with peace. Sometimes it comes with war, but at least now it's real. Within hours, fans flooded her comments. We stand with you, Mykelti. Robyn's lies are finally catching up. This family deserves truth, not guilt. The internet had been waiting for this moment, and Mykelti's courage became the spark that reignited the Brown family's story. Meanwhile, Robyn sat alone in her living room, the same spot where she'd once held family meetings and wept for sympathy. The cameras had stopped rolling, but her tears didn't. She whispered to herself, I just wanted them to love me. But even she knew now, that kind of love couldn't be built on control. It was over. The empire she fought to keep had fallen. For Mykelti, this wasn't revenge, it was liberation.